What's up guys, it's Light Spiral here with the Dragon's Beast 7 Farmable team video. So the first thing I want to mention is what I'm going to go over in this video is all 5 of the units, as well as how to get them, what their purpose is in the team, as well as replacements for them. So I'll get into that now. The first unit here is Beretta, the Fire Sylph. He's a natural 4 that you can get out of the Fusion Hexagram. The next unit is Konamiya, the Water Garuda. It's a natural 2-star, and every natural 2-star in the game is very easily obtainable through the Unknown Scrolls, Social Summonings, Magic Shop, and Secret Dungeons. So you can pick one of those ways to get him. The next unit is Shannon, the Wind Pixie. Also a natural 2-star, and I just went over how to get natural 2-stars. Next unit is Darian, the Light Vagabond, and he's a natural 3-star that you can get in a secret dungeon. And the next unit is Bella, the Light Inugami, or the last unit I should say, is Bella, the Light Inugami, who's also a natural 3-star you can get out of a secret dungeon. And you will notice that my Darian died in that last, or a second ago. He doesn't have a single rune on him, so I kind of expected him to die, and it's fine, and this team can work without him. But now I'll get into the replacements of the team and purposes. Now the first thing I want to mention is that this dungeon is pretty hard. In my opinion, I don't know if this might be more hard than B8, just because of the fact that the third stage is so difficult, because the crystals ignore defense, and the boss does a AoE attack that does a ton of damage, and it's based on his max HP, so there's no way to like nerf it. Like if it was based on his attack power, you could debuff you could like break his attack, you know. But it's based on his max HP, so you can't even do that. So this is a pretty tough one, and if you can't beat it right away, then that's fine. The team will work, especially if you had your Darian runed up. But so now I'll get into purposes and replacements, and my what's it called? I use Reflector to put my phone on my computer, and it froze. So let me see if I can get that back and running. Just give me a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'll start getting into the purposes and replacements. The reason that Beretta is in the team is that he has his third skill, which does continuous damage, or like dots. And the reason why is because in Dragons you need to kill the boss somewhat quick if you want to stay alive, because the boss has his passive that makes it so when he goes below 30% HP, he does a lot more damage. So if you can't kill him quick once he gets below 30%, you'll probably die. But so Beretta's there for the dots, and the reason I chose him instead of an actual damage dealer is because an actual damage dealer is probably going to die on the third stage. So you need a damage dealer that's going to be able to survive the third stage. So you either need someone that does damage based on their max HP or their defense, or someone that does dots so they can be tanky and still do damage, basically. So that's why Beretta's in the team. Replacements for him is anyone that can do damage or do dots and be tanky, because they're going to die if they're squishy in the third stage. The next unit is Konamiya, the Water Garuda. He has one purpose in the team, and it's to do the AoE cleanse. For those of you that don't know, in Dragons, once you get to the boss stage, the left tower will always do continuous damage, and however many continuous damage effects are on you, the boss will do more damage based on how many continuous damage effects are on you. So if you have no continuous damage, the boss won't have any kind of buff to his attack. But if you have like 3 continuous damage effects on all your team, then the boss is going to do a lot of damage and maybe even one-shot you. So you need someone to cleanse that off, and I have Kona here. Any AoE cleanser that's consistent at AoE cleansing or consistent at AoE immunity could work to replace Kona. Shannon is in the team really just for one reason, and that one reason is the AoE defense buff. And the reason that the defense buff is so important in this stage is because of the third stage, Like I said, there's no way to make the light dragon's attack weaker, but there is a way to make your team more likely to survive the attack, and that would be to apply a defense buff. So replacements for Shannon is any AoE defense buff that's pretty consistent, because you need it to be up when the dragon does his third skill. The next unit is Darian. He's in the team, once again, really just for one reason, and that is his passive. Makes it so all your team takes 15% less damage except Darian himself. But so Darian is in there for the third stage again, because, like I said, you can't make the bosses or the dragon's attack weaker. So the only way to make it easier to survive that is by having defense buff and damage mitigation. So you have defense buff in Shannon and damage mitigation in Darian. You can give the boss glancing debuff too, which Shannon also does. But so replacements for Darian, preferably you would have someone that does damage mitigation like Darian, or if you have the Dark Death Knight, I think it's called, the natural 4, that would work. But if you don't want to use damage mitigation, I would just bring another healer in instead. And then the last unit is Bella Dion, and Bella's purpose in the team, Bella has 2 purposes in the team / 3, and I'll explain that. The first reason Bella's in the team is for the heal. The second reason is to strip the attack buff off of the final boss. And then the third reason, which I said is kind of like an optional reason, it depends, the defense break. The defense break is not going to help if you use this kind of team, but the defense break will help if you use a real damage dealer. Like, if you use dots as your damage, the defense break doesn't really matter. But if you are using an actual damage dealer that just does like straight damage, like whatever, like any like Rayoke or whatever kind of damage dealer you have, then the defense break is going to help. But so replacements for Bella, although I don't recommend you try and replace Bella, I recommend you just go ahead and get Bella. I would recommend replacing Bella with your best healer you have. Definitely, you need some kind of buff strip, so if you're not going to use Bella, then you have to make one of your other units buff stripping, so that's why I say I would just use Bella. But that's this team, guys. That's kind of all I have for it. If there's any question or comments, be sure to tell me in the comment section, as well as if there's any other dungeons you're having trouble clearing, be sure to tell me that in the comment section too. But that's really all I have for today though, guys, so may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows.